Next, we will have Dr. Cao. Dr. Cao boasts the frontline experiences in charge of one of the hospital in Wuhan's medical treatment diagnosis, as also a lead author of China's manual of diagnosis and antiviral treatment. He and his team have co-authored 2 articles that currently I think is top 4 at Lancet magazine. So Dr. Cao, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. I'm a pulmonologist working in China, Japan Friendship Hospital, but from December 31st, I have been working here in Wuhan. So as the chair introduced me, that I'm the author. Yes, dropped the Chinese guideline of diagnosis or treatment of COVID-19. We drafted the first version as early as January 1st, and now we have updated the guideline to the 7th version. And the next, please. Okay, my group has published 2 original papers in the journal Lancet, and you can find from the website of Lancet the most read papers that we are listed the top 2 of the 4, but the other 4 are editorial or comment. These paper, our paper are the original article. And I will thank Professor Peng Zhiyong's introduction of the COVID-19. So maybe you have already learned that what the disease is, but I will try to illustrate the difference between survival and non-survivals. And you can find that the for severe and critical care patients. On the day from the onset illness, about the day 10 or day 11, they are easily to develop sepsis and ARDS. Next.
If the clinicians want to cure the disease, the clinicians must have very clear knowledge about the new disease. As I mentioned, it's a kind of infectious disease. It's a kind of infectious disease caused by virus. So we have this in mind that when the new infectious disease comes to the community, yes, for clinicians, we get to know the disease step by step. The first step is that we figure out the main symptoms, clinical signs, laboratory findings, and the chest CT scan. This is what we reported in Lancet in January 24th, the clinical features of COVID-19. This is a paper that I was told that have been downloaded from the Lancet website nearly 1 million times. So I believe that many clinicians, international society, get to know the disease from this paper. After that, the second step that we want to understand the clinical cause and the risk factor for mortality. This is our second paper publishing several days ago in Lancet. Again, this paper is regarded as the most read paper as a original paper in Lancet. And from our analysis, we found that the elderly age, the SOFA score, and the increased D-dimer are the independent risk factors. So I mentioned the 3 risk factors to show that the underlying mechanism of the disease, as I will introduce in the next several minutes. So let's start from this slide. Yeah, it's a disease has the most common complication is pneumonia, but not only pneumonia. For severely ill patients, we also have found that the acidosis and the environment disorders, and some of them even complicated with acute kidney injury and acute cardiac injury. So for ICU doctor, yes, you will be find that okay, it's a disease that is sepsis, but it's not sepsis caused by bacterial infection or bacteremia. It's a sepsis only caused by viral infection. And as we found that at the beginning of the infection, there's no co-infection of bacteria or fungi. It's only viral infection. So this time we call this sepsis as viral sepsis. Next, please. Next slide, please. Okay. Here's a paper. Yes, we have submitted to Lancet, and it's under a peer review. And we have our hypothesis of the disease. Yes, for mild infection, it seems that the effector T cells and the macrophages can overcome the invasion of the virus. But unfortunately, if the host is immune depressed or elderly population, or the invasion of the virus is a great amount, it seems that the macrophage or the T cells of the alveolar space cannot control the virus. So on the consequence that maybe the virus can go into the blood vessels and spread all over the body, and we have to keep in mind that the receptor of the virus to host cells is ACE2. There's a lot of ACE2 receptors of the type 2 alveolar cells, and after that is the endocytes of the blood vessels. So the virus may bind to endocytes of the blood vessels and cause the damage of the endocytes or the blood vessels. So immediately the plasmid and the fibrinogens will bind to the damaged endocytes and cause clot. So this is why we have found that the high level of D-dimer, it is because of the widespread clot formation of the blood vessels, and because of the clots of the microcirculation of the whole body, which will make the secondary damage to the other organs, such as the heart, such as the liver, such as the kidney, and even the intestine. The autopsy has confirmed our hypothesis, that is for severe and critical illness, not only great damage to the lung, but also to the kidney or the heart. So it's a very dangerous disease of the virus. And I think another important thing we have to keep in mind that the time for virus clearance is so long. According to our recent paper in Lancet, the median duration of virus shedding is as long as 20 days. I cannot imagine it. I always compare with COVID-19 with influenza. But it seems that the COVID-19, the virus lasted in the body much longer compared with influenza virus. So the virologist here in Wuhan call this coronavirus 2 is a Nazi virus. It is Nazi virus. So it is because of the virus can cause severe damage to the organs, including the lungs, the heart, the kidney. But for another story, that the virus would not like to leave the body. The virus itself likes to stay in the body and to cause these long-term damage to the whole cells and even the organs. So we call the virus Nazi virus. And next slide, please. Here is the pathology findings. Yes, publishing in Lancet RM, and we can find that the viral particle. But I'm sorry that I have not shown the electron microscopy. But if you can see from under the electron microscopy, there are a lot of viral particles in the alveolar spaces and interstitial lung tissues. And we also find that the viral RNA can be detected not only in respiratory specimens, but also from the feces, anal swab, or even blood, or even urine. So it is a story of the nasty virus. And the primary pathology shows that there are diffused airway damage with the formation of hyaline membranes. If we look at the inflammatory cells in the lungs of the COVID-19, it is monocytes and macrophages. There's very few lymphocytes. So it is strange with me, yes, because my team and I have been studying influenza for many years. Yes, when we look at the pathology of the severe influenza viral pneumonia, we will find that the lung inflammation mainly by the lymphocytes. But here in COVID-19 lung, we only have the monocytes and macrophages, very few lymphocytes. This is the difference between COVID-19 and the severe influenza pneumonia cases. So as we have, so you can imagine that there are so many, a lot of viral particles. So what is the mainstay of treatment? The answer is easy. The answer is easy. That is the antiviral therapy. So it seems that effective antiviral therapy is essential to improve the outcome of the patient. Next slide, please. But unfortunately, so far there's no specific antivirus against SARS, COVID-2 has been proved. But I will share you the story that our team has been leading 3 prospective randomized controlled trials. One trial is the lopinavir, ritonavir monotherapy with versus the standard therapy. We call this trial Lotus China trial. Yes, you may understand that Lotus is famous here in China, and we use this name here to have a vision that the Chinese people can overcome the disease very soon. And the good news that we have completed this trial, and the paper is submitted, and the revision of the paper is under peer review. And I'm sure that all of you will read the paper as early as next week. And we also leading 2 remdesivir trials. First, we call the CAP China remdesivir 1, mainly for the mild moderate pneumonia. This trial is ongoing. The third trial is CAP China remdesivir 2. This trial is a severe critical pneumonia patient, and also this trial is also ongoing now. So maybe next month, yes, all of the clinicians will maybe read our results of remdesivir 2 trial. But unfortunately, because it is a prospective, placebo-controlled, double-blind trial, I cannot share with you the details of the trial. So very sorry about this. Next slide, please. Yeah, the virus is not only the only story. Yeah, when we look at the pathology, when we look at the cytokines, we can find that for severe cases or critically ill patients, there is really a story of dysregulated host immune response. The first part, the left part of the slide is the data we published in the first Lancet paper. And in this paper, we have carefully monitored the cytokines and chemokines of the patient, and we can find that compared with health control, the COVID-19 has the elevated cytokines and chemokines, including AL1 beta, AL6, GCSF, IP10, and MCT1. So maybe you can understand there is a really cytokine storm of the critically ill patients. And the right part is that I will show you the lymphopenia. Compared with survivals, the non-survivals have the very, very low lymphocytes, even as low as 400. But for survivals, during the course of the illness, we will find that at the beginning also there is lymphopenia, but if the patient successfully recovers, there is an increase of the lymphocytes as high as 1,500 and so on. So you may understand that maybe except for the antiviral, there is a host-directed therapy might be an option. Yes, in China, yes, the clinicians have already tried corticosteroids, but there is a controversy of the use of corticosteroids. Yes, because of the limited time, I cannot show you the details of how Chinese clinicians use corticosteroids, the indication and the contraindications, and I'm leading a committee effort, yes, to publish expert consensus in Chinese journals, and I believe that many Wuhan doctors follow our guidelines. And another choice is the convalescent plasma, and our team working together with another co-PI, yes, we have conducted a randomized controlled trials of convalescence versus the standard therapy. But at this time, I cannot tell you the efficacy of the convalescent plasma. But the good news is that the patients will tolerate convalescent plasma very well. So now we have tested no more than 100 cases, but I believe that our data will have you more confidence, yes, to use convalescent plasma. And the third is that IL-6 antibody, IL-6 receptor antibody, and there's a clinical trial ongoing with the one arm investigating the efficacy and the safety of the IL-6 receptor antibody. But at this time, it's too early to give you the definite results of the antibodies. Please, next slide, please. I think another story of the mechanism of the disease is the coagulation. It is so common that we find the abnormal coagulation of the severe COVID-19. You can find that from the figure that compared with the survivals, the non-survivals have the rapid increase of the dimer. And I have told you in our second Lancet paper that the increase the dimer is an independent risk for the mortality. So some reader give me questions that ask me, Dr. Cao Bing, what's the reason, underlying reasons of the dimer of the mechanism of the disease? The answer is that the dimer is a marker of the thrombosis, not only in the lungs but also other organs, including all parts of the body. It is so you cannot imagine that there are so many clots, especially in the micro blood vessels. So the abnormal coagulation can cause the dysfunction of the microcirculation, and the dysfunction of the microcirculation leads to septic shock. So this is I think this story is very, very important for the treatment of the disease. So in China, we recommend the anticoagulation therapy should be initiated for severe COVID-19 patients if otherwise contraindicated. Okay, thank you. Next slide, please. As the time is limited, so I will give you the take-home message. Yeah, it is an infectious disease, and it is an infectious disease caused by a new coronavirus. So the invasion of the virus into the lung is the first step of the disease. I believe that more intensive surveillance or individually therapeutic approach is needed for severe cases. And I believe that early use of effective antivirals and measures to restore the immune response, as well as the supportive care, are very, very important to improve the outcome of the patient. Next slide. So I will appreciate all our co-operators in Wuhan City and Fred Hayden from University of Virginia, and Professor Peter Hobby from Oxford University. And I also appreciate the support from WHO and the National Science Foundation of China. At last, I will share with you a picture of my colleagues. Yes, although they wear the mask, but we can clearly find their happiness, because these guys have just finished ECMO and the IDP for patients with COVID-19 complicated with myocardial infarction. So at last, I will give you the hint that although it's a disease of pneumonia, although it's a disease of sepsis, you have to very carefully monitor the complication of the heart. The cardiac event is a very common complications of the COVID-19, and some of the patients died from the cardiac arrest and the cardiac complications. Thank you for attention.
Thank you, Dr. Saul. It's worth noting that all three doctors are still working on the front line, and they took their valuable time from their rest to be with us. It's now about 11, 12 o'clock over there in China, and they've been seeing patients the whole day already. And all three have took care and time to really put the presentation in English to make it easy for our audience. So on behalf of everybody, we still have several hundred doctors online. I want to express our deep, heartfelt thanks to all of you, and particularly for what you have contributed to the collective knowledge about this virus and to what you have done to protect the people over there. We hope all the experiences you shared here would help us as we're embracing a battle to protect our people here. And as we can see that in this virus, we have now found a real worthy adversary. It is at least 10 times more lethal than flu, and it is more clever in the sense it is both fatal as well as infectious. And at the same time, it attacks both the lung, such as SARS, but also it severely damaged our immune system, the same way that HIV does. This could really be with us for a while. We have received numerous questions that cover from general topics as well as a specific technical in nature. What we will do is to organize all of the questions and send it to the three doctors. And we will have our team to have separate interviews with all three doctors, record their answers and disseminate it both in video recording, audio recording, as well as text to all of the people who wish to receive them. And please do write to us at himalaya@hemcap.com. If we have learned anything from Chinese experiences, it seems to me has boiled down to three broad categories. Number one, aggressive testing, aggressive tracking, to track down every single one get infected, using either technology or strong administrative measures, so that we have a real sense of who they are, where they're located, and therefore to prepare where the inevitable outbreak is going to be. Number two, to differentiate the treatment of people who are in danger of being infected, who are infected, who have mild syndrome, and who have severe or critical symptoms. to have a differentiated treatment of all of them, from quarantine, home, to shelter, using gymnasium, sports stadiums, hotels, etc., to a hospital bed and critical care. Number 3, to have a robust reserve for the critical care hospital bed. That in early days of Wuhan, that is ill prepared, which resulted in a large number of deaths, which now we see a repeat in Italy. Pretty soon, that China has mobilized resources from all over the China to really send to Wuhan. Altogether, 42,000 doctors and nurses from all over China were sent to Wuhan to fortress the defense. And Dr. Cao is a fine example of all those people who have been stationed there since 2 months ago. And so to really achieve where they are is not easy. It may not be repeated in other countries, depends on the social structures of different culture and different society. But I think the experiences that China has been through is extremely valuable to all of us here. Unfortunately, due to all sorts of different reasons, ideological, etc., that those 2 months of experiences, valuable experiences, are largely lost in America and in the West broadly. Unfortunately, virus does not understand the differences, does not understand the term trade wars. It doesn't recognize borders. It really goes wherever they want to survive. And so we're all in it together. And so we will continue as long as people find it valuable to share those experiences and learnings out of this enormous fight that China has put together, and all those tremendous work done, represented by those 3 great hero doctors in my own mind and in the mind of a lot of people. And so we will continue to do that. Now it's about an hour and a half now, so we're coming to the end. A lot of people might have other plans, but I assure you that I will put everything in video, audio, text format, and disseminate to all of you if you wish to receive them. And we will follow up with all the answers and record all the answers for the questions that have been posed to us from the 3 doctors with their permission. And again, distribute it back. And here I want to recognize lots of the volunteers that have really made this available. From the very beginning of the Wuhan outbreak, we have organized a volunteer group, 2020 Helping Wuhan. And about a week ago, we have formed another volunteer group called 2020 Helping Seattle, broadly United States. And many people have played a critical roles in there. I won't recognize one by one, except that together now we have resources that covers many different fields to make sure at the beginning to disseminate those vital learnings and experiences into the United States as fast as possible. I will come and invite everyone who want to join the effort to come together. Together, let's really do the best we can to protect our community, our family, our cities, our state, and our country. For that, I want to thank everyone again for participating, for what you have done, for what you have contributed. And I thank everybody. We have several hundred people from all over the country, from all the important institutions, medical hospitals, medical schools, that together we truly represent the best of hope for our country. And we would love to help and work together in the days and the weeks to come. So thank you, and we'll resume soon. Bye-bye.